What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about if the Halloween game will be announced at E3 2021. So we talked about this game a couple different times, I believe 2 different times on this channel. One, in that I believe that it is real and it is happening based off what we've seen with leaks and kind of insider stuff. And then number 2, that they were hiring a community manager as of a month and a half ago. At least they were looking for one. So, it's a, I won't kid you guys. I'm not going to, I'm going to lead you astray. It's definitely a long shot, I'd argue, simply for the fact that we don't even know if Gun Media, which is the makers of it, if they're even going to E3. So I guess the biggest thing that could shoot this down immediately. Now, I haven't seen anybody ask them on Twitter, stuff like that. So definitely, if you feel bold enough, go up to them you guys virtually go up to them and say, "Hey, you going to E3?" But that would obviously put a damper on things quite quickly if they say, "No, we're not going." At the same time, there has been examples of this, I guess, in the past where developers have said they're not going to be there or their game's not going to show up or whatever, and then they lie and they were there anyway, right? So just because they say something specifically around times like E3, I don't believe anything anybody says, just in general, just so I'm kind of safe from all that, right? And then I just kind of let the actions do the talking. If they weren't actually there, it's like, oh, they ended up telling the truth. And if they were there, but they said they weren't, obviously they were lying. But I honestly think there's an opportunity there for this game to be there. Maybe not even at E3, but maybe Summer Games Fest, which we can throw in this video as well. But before I get too far in, make sure, as always, if you guys are not already, you guys are subscribed, hit the like button, hit the bell icon so you guys know when all these videos go up. I'll be covering Summer Games Fest. I'll be covering E3. I'll be covering the Halloween game when it's eventually announced, all that stuff, all on this channel. So you can definitely look forward to more content. All right, so yeah, I mean, the biggest thing is just, are they going to be there or not? Because if they're going to be there, well, to my knowledge, they would only have this game to show. So it would be pretty easy, or it'd be pretty much a guarantee at that point that if they're going, this is the game they would show. I just feel like things are kind of leading up for it to be announced at some point, I guess, to really give myself a window, like this year, the rest of this year. I really think they're in a situation where it's been enough time, they've been making it, they're looking for a community manager, all that good stuff. I feel like you could do it. You could definitely, give us an announcement there. I don't think that's impossible whatsoever. And, again, I throw in Summer Games Fest. Halloween, let's be real, would not be the biggest game on planet Earth. You look at Friday the 13th, that was not the biggest game on planet Earth. Although, I did look back, they were at E3 back, I believe, in 2016 to show, I don't think it was the first time they announced it, but it was I believe they showed off Friday the 13th at E3 that year. So, it's not like they've never been to E3 before, right? They're not, it's not like it's too big for them in that way. They could very well go, but if you do think it's too big for them, which, I'm not going to disagree with you there, Jeff Keighley, again, if you guys don't know who that is, but Jeff Keighley's doing the Summer Games Fest, which he did last year. And last year wasn't the greatest thing on planet Earth, but this year seems to be, or looks like it's going to be a lot better, a lot more compact, and just a lot more in sync with itself. And so you could look at that and say, okay, well, in June, he's going to be doing an entire thing. Maybe it shows up there. I think it's been a game kind of long in the we'll have to see when eventually, when it does get announced, we'll have to see what the story was with it, because it feels like the game has been in the works for quite a while, but was kind of dark and kind of very, very quiet, right? Not even announced for a very long time. And then all of a sudden we're starting to get this. And what's funny is, again, I say announced. The thing that would happen with Halloween first would be an announcement, because we don't technically even know that the game formally exists, you know what I mean? So they have to announce it first, show a trailer, stuff like that. I think to want it to release this year is asking for a lot. I'm not going to go so far to say it's asking for too much, but I think it's definitely asking for a lot. It's definitely possible, but just because of what's happened, I'd say over the last year and a half, slowing down pretty much everybody, I feel like the odds of it being announced and released in the same year or within 5 or so months of each other is not the highest thing, on planet Earth. But I'm excited. I don't think Friday the 13th is the greatest game of all time. I've made many, many videos in my history on Podcast Now and on YouTube on my thoughts of Friday the 13th. It's the biggest love-hate relationship I think I have for any game in existence. And so it's just that. It's a love-hate thing. So I would be very excited for Halloween. I am excited, hopefully, to play a Halloween game, and I just really hope they get things right where they failed in certain aspects in Friday the 13th. But I think it's definitely possible. I'm not going into E3, expecting it. And again, what's interesting is I've covered E3 quite a bit in over the last couple weeks and for several different games. The theme has kind of been I'm picking publishers, developers that I know are going. So we made a lot of Warner Bros. Videos. We made a lot of Microsoft videos. We've focused on, or I focused on, games from publishers that I know are going to be there. So at least you can say, well, they're going, so there's a chance. For Halloween, it's one of those examples where do they partner with somebody? Do they partner with Microsoft? Do they partner with, I don't even know who else you would partner with to show this game. But you also have to think, E3 in general is not only a place for, even back when it was like a thing and people would go to it, like 2 years ago, all that stuff. Yes, the shows, the big conferences would be, exclusive to the big 3 to 6, big names. But there were, if not, I would say hundreds. There were probably hundreds of developers and publishers combined that were also there, that would be on the show floor the days after, showing their new games, talking about their new games, and they would get overshadowed. And that's part of the main reason why I don't like E3, is because a game like Halloween, if it is there, if it is announced in a press release / trailer through like IGN, it gets overshadowed so quickly by all the other stuff going on that it almost feels like it didn't happen. You know what I mean? So that's a tangent of why I don't like E3, but it's also I would say an explanation in case you guys are wondering, well, we don't even know if they're going, or they're not going to have a conference, right? Like a show with like a huge television screen. They're not going to have that just for one game. No, they wouldn't. They would be, but E3 has never only been that, right? E3 is a lot more than that. So I think the odds are still like there. I don't know if they're high, but they're definitely, like, there is a possibility that it happens. So let me know, guys, in the comments below, what do you think? Do you think this game is something that fits with E3, maybe Summer, maybe it's too, maybe again, E3, maybe it's too big, maybe it doesn't fit with Summer Game Fest? Let me know in the comments. As always, make sure you guys are subscribed here, bell icon. If I ever see anything, if I ever hear anything on this Halloween game, I'll be sure to cover it. If it's at E3, at Summer Games Fest, I'll be sure to cover it there as well. Hit the like button, definitely helps these videos out, and I hope to talk to you guys on the next video.